Laurier, sustainability is a very important factor in our curriculum, and quite a few of us fellow Hawks do our best to be conscious and sustainable when we can. However, many of us are not aware that we can be sustainable in the curriculum, and therefore we still have a long way to go. How sustainable is Laurier? How can we take care of our Golden Hawk community we all know and love? And how are our actions affecting our curriculum and the environment that we live in? Our group has set out to see just how sustainable Laurier is and how we can go further with our goals. Textbooks, one of the only things that every student has in common, and also one of the only things students spend hundreds of dollars on. Each term, every student needs at least 5 textbooks, and each textbook can be anywhere from 300 to 500 pages. What we don't realize as we buy these textbooks is how much paper and how many trees we are using to make them. Maclean's does a yearly average check on many cost factors in attending a Canadian university, including the cost of books per program. The average for students to spend on textbooks is $773 according to Brown 2017. Also, one can only imagine the amount of paper used per term by students at the on-campus printing hub. Not only are we spending so much money on textbooks, but we're putting students into debt with the expense of textbooks that will become outdated in only a few years. As we continue to buy more textbooks, more trees are being cut down, which greatly affects our oxygen levels. One tree creates an average of 85,000 sheets of paper. Paper mills are one of the top contributors to pollution. Discarded paper makes up approximately 26% of solid waste in city landfills. Air pollution is a major factor and risk of various severe diseases. If we continue this way, our world will be gone before we know it. We decided to talk to one of the representatives at Laurier's Sustainability Office to get more information.
So I'm the manager of the Sustainability Office here. If you think about 18,000 students that come through Laurier every year and how many textbooks we go through, it has a huge footprint. And then you think about all of the resources that are used to make those textbooks. So, raw materials for new textbooks, trees that are cut down, the energy that's used, the fossil fuels that are used to produce them. It has a huge carbon footprint and a huge environmental footprint. So online textbooks are a great alternative, and used textbooks are a great alternative.
In this generation, technology is essential. Laurier recognizes that there are some students who don't have access to technology like others, and therefore provide on-campus desktops. We decided to talk to the Dean of Science, Dr. Bruce McKay, to understand why he chose to write his own textbooks for one of his classes and supply it for free for his students online.
So I wrote my own book to make it more credible and make it more accurate. Why did I make it free? We live in an information era where everything's available online anyways, so I feel it's actually quite irresponsible to be selling students textbooks that cost hundreds of dollars that they will literally use once, maybe only use half of it once, and that's it. It's just a huge expense. With respect to how easy it is to update the book, how easy to update the curriculum, if the book is online and it's your book and you have control over it, if there's any new developments in the field, if there's any recent media attention drawn to a particular topic, you can immediately incorporate that in the book, update it very easily, and redistribute it to the students. So the online testing that I do has much bigger benefits for the environment. In the courses I've taught, historically, a couple courses per term, multiple terms per year, I'm looking at many hundreds of students that go through my classes. By moving to online testing as opposed to the paper-based testing, my classes are saving about 13,000 sheets of paper a year just by moving to the online mechanism.
13,000 sheets of paper? Now that's a lot of paper. After getting insight from one of Laurier's professionals, we decided to ask students a few questions about their thoughts on online textbooks and whether or not they support being a part of a sustainable change.
I spend about $400 a term on textbooks, but oftentimes I don't even use the textbooks for my courses.
Same with me. I spend about $300, if not more, and if I use the textbook once a month, that's good.
Yeah, when I have the alternative, I always go with the online textbook. Personally, I like it because, first of all, it's not as bulky so that I don't have to carry it around with me, and then also it's cheaper and uses less waste of paper.
So being in psychology and neuroscience, a lot of the textbooks aren't offered online, but when they are, it's a really good idea because not only does it save money, but it also saves the environment.
Even though some prefer physical copies, online copies of textbooks are more efficient and accessible. Used textbooks are also a great alternative and cost-effective. Laurier provides students with buyback programs at the end of each term, and there are also on-campus opportunities to donate books. While some students prefer physical copies, online textbooks can be beneficial in more ways than one. Online textbooks not only provide the textbook content, but also other online resources such as practice quizzes, which can be accessed on multiple devices. It is easy to get a hold of and a much cheaper alternative for students compared to physical copies. Our main goal is to encourage students to get online and to reuse and recycle. As helpful as reusing a textbook is, recycling paper only helps part of the issue and does not reduce the environmental impact on energy and pollution within manufacturing and transporting paper products, which can be very expensive. In 2016, it was recorded that paper production was the third highest cause of pollution in Canada. Pulp and paper mills released 174,000 of the 3.3 million tons of air, water, and land pollutants emissions, according to the Government of Canada in 2017. We would like to thank our fellow students at Laurier who took the time to watch our video, and we hope after watching this video you will consider going paperless when it comes to textbooks. After learning about how the production of paper is affecting global climate change, it's time for you to decide if you want to become part of the change towards bettering our Laurier community and becoming a more sustainable student within the curriculum.